Welcome to Sportsmania. Yes, we will talk Premier League. There's definitely plenty happened. And we will talk the FA Cup semi-finals on your Easter Bank Holiday Monday. Let's go.
Is England's priceless gem!
Right, welcome to the show, everyone. And let's first introduce the panel. We've got Luke back on the show. How are you doing, mate?
I'm all good, mate. How are you?
All good. Good to have you back on the show. Matt, how's it going?
I'm good, thank you. It's been a bit of a long time, but I'm glad to be back. So I'm looking forward to talking about everything over the weekend.
Yes, plenty happened. And of course, in the producer's chair, we've got Austin.
Hello, possibly one of the worst chairs for a producer to sit in, but I'm here.
I need to invest in a good one,
it's
mate.
Literally, it's literally a dining room chair, like wood.
Worse. You could have nothing but one of these little fold-up stool things. They're even worse. Invest in a good one. Abdi will join us at some point as well in the show. So yes, we've got that to come. But let's get on with the FA Cup semi-finals first, and we'll get Abdi's views on them as well when he joins us. Let's start probably with what I'd say was the more exciting semi-final out of the two, and that was Man City versus Liverpool. Luke, I mean, it was truly a spectacle. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I think it was very interesting game to watch. Liverpool dominated that game from the get-go. You could say City had their second team out, but if you look at the value, that has actually cost more than Liverpool starting 11. So don't know why they're making that excuses. But there was a lot of action. City tried to get back into it, but Liverpool had a bit too much. Thought Stefan, bloody his error was diabolical.
It was comical.
He saw Ederson trying to do it, and he thought he'd try and do it, but nah. He got mugged right off by Mane. But yeah, Liverpool were just a lot stronger on the day, and they deserve to be in the finals. Painful as that is for me to say.
Matt, I mean, Liverpool clearly dominated, and they were clearly the better team on the pitch. What do you think was missing for Man City there? That although that I think it was 3-2 at the end. I think it was, and Man City tried to get back into it, but they didn't manage in the end. What was missing?
Well, apart from Ederson, that was really it. The main issue was the fact that City had to go away to Atletico and get something out of the game, and they got a 0-0 draw, whereas Liverpool rotated their squads against Benfica midway through with our Champions League fixtures. So Liverpool could relax a little bit more easier, knowing that they were practically already through. I think that was probably the difference between these two, if I'm honest.
I think it was. And the goalkeeper clearly, I mean, Stefan is the cup keeper. We know that, but he was really unconvincing in that game. Austin, what did you think? Should it have been Ederson that started for Man City rather than Stefan?
Well, yes, because if you look at it, he made that decision of preferring Stefan over Ederson, and he clearly saw that backfired. It was obviously a Liverpool first half, and Man City, they nearly come back in the second half, but just weren't good enough. And I feel that could have been the error of putting Stefan in goal rather than Ederson. So yeah, I feel it was a big mistake by Pep to put him in.
Yes, I think to me that was kind of the glaringly obvious problem, rather than any other part of Man City's squad on the day. It was the goalkeeper that from the beginning seemed. I mean, the first goal came. It didn't take long for the first goal to come, and it just seemed the goalkeeper, Stefan, was not
Yeah,
prepared for this
yeah.
game. I don't know if it was mentally or what's happened, but clearly, Man City is allergy to semi-finals carries on. It seems. Have
The
we
thing
got?
is as well. The thing is as well.
Mm,
Sorry, is like they also had the trouble of they were unable to start Kevin De Bruyne, and then obviously they also had Carl Walker out injured as well. So they had two decent players there that weren't able to play.
no, that
So
doesn't help, and
it can make an impact.
that's the unfortunate side with midweek games and getting a lot of
Yeah,
games coming thick and fast. You're going to get these injuries, and you know we can only guess whether Walker and De Bruyne being in that squad on the day would have fixed some of Man City's problems or not. That's we're never going to know that. But yes, Liverpool are through to the second cup final of the season, still on for the quadruple. I mean, that will be interesting if they get it. I mean, yeah. Have you got any comments, Austin?
we have no comments at the moment.
Okay. We'll carry on to the next semi-final, and as much as it was my team playing, I have to say it probably was the far less exciting semi-final. Matt, Chelsea got the job done against Palace. What else can be said, really? Palace kept Chelsea quiet for a lot of that game. It wasn't overly exciting, but what were your thoughts?
Yeah, Vieira did what he's done best at Palace. He's tried to keep teams quiet for as long as possible. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that was pretty much how Chelsea managed to get their 2 goals, is just tiring out the Palace defence and scoring 2 goals. Vieira's done really well since come to Palace. And it will be interesting to see what happens with him over the summer, whether or not he's going to carry on with what he's started. Maybe is Conor Gallagher going to be there or not? It'll be an interesting one to watch over the summer, that's for sure.
Slightly related to this cup as well. We'll talk Palace in a minute, but slightly related. I've seen in the news that they were talking, Luke, about the removal of the rule that if a player's on loan, they can't play for the against their parent club. And what do you think? Do you think it'd be a good idea for that rule to be removed?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea, especially like young players like Matt just suggested, Conor Gallagher. Maybe he wouldn't have got that opportunity if he was still playing for Chelsea, because the players you've got above him, like Havertz, Mount, and co. So for young players like that, it'd be a great experience for them and them to develop their game. So I wouldn't be opposed to on loan players to play against their parent clubs should they meet them.
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, sometimes you see in games and things like that there are clauses where they can say, "Oh, if you're in a cup game, you can play against us." But whether or not it's actually in loan contracts is a different issue. It would be nice to see some of these clubs, let's say a Marine, have I can't remember any young players, but say Curtis Jones was playing for Marine and they get Liverpool in the FA Cup in the third round again, then it would have been quite nice for him to play against Liverpool to see how far he's come and developed. As Luke said, I think it would be a good test to see how they do.
Austin, what do you think about that situation? Where do you stand?
Sorry, what was the question again, mate? I do apologise.
They are looking at removing the rule that if the player's unknown, they can't play against their parent club. They want that removed. What do you think?
I think it makes sense, but that's obviously a decision that they've decided to make. And if they want to make that decision, then that's down to them. But yeah, it's an interesting one. That
I think for the future that rule personally should be removed, because I think a lot of players like Conor Gallagher will actually, heavily miss out on playing for their club. And for Palace, playing a player like Conor Gallagher, who was one of their biggest talents this season, to me, that should have easily been happening. And I mean, what do you think of Palace? Look, they deserved a good cup run after the season they are carrying on to have. A good cup run is exactly what they needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. Because they've done so well against like the big teams, like Man City. They've beaten them and held them to a draw. Chelsea, it took them to like 60th minute for them to be broken down, which is understandable because Chelsea got higher quality players that eventually are going to break them down. But yeah, Palace deserve where they be. Well done to them getting that far. I mean, it's not the first time they've got far in the FA Cup. They got there into the final back in 2016. So,
And they took you guys to extra time.
Yeah, they took us to extra time to beat them, but they are a good side and they deserve to be where they are.
Matt, do you think Palace got as far as they could have, and it was a great cup run for them, well deserved?
It depends. With most of the big teams, it could have been one of those ones where Chelsea just didn't turn up and the goals wouldn't have turned up, and all it would have taken was perhaps a last-minute goal from Palace to see them through, and then you almost have like a Wigan situation where you're going up against a Liverpool team and just carry on trying to play that way and try and win your first piece of trophy that I think since they've come up.
Austin, what's your view on Palace? I mean, to me, their cup run was kind of it summed up their season perfectly. A very decent cup run, and a game where I wouldn't say they were the worst team either, because they did very well.
They did what they needed to do. They didn't get to where they wanted to get, but they still got far into the competition, and that's the main point when it comes to things like that. You get as far as you possibly can. So if I was Crystal Palace right now, I would actually go and say to myself, well, we got into a semi-final. At least that's something.
To me, it says a lot that Palace did this, because they've had a season where they've showed how much of a different team they are under Vieira with the players they got. It was fantastic to see them, and kind of, they could still end the season in the top 10 of the Premier League table, which I think would be the least they deserve, with a decent cup run. So financially, that will give them a good boost in general all round.
Yes.
So yes, we've got Liverpool, Chelsea, the repeat of the League Cup final. Deep joy.
Interesting one.
For a Chelsea fan, we'll see. But let's get your opinions on which way do we think this is gonna go, Luke? What do you think?
Well, who's going to win the cup? Unfortunately, I think Liverpool are going to win it. Just think they're going to have just that little bit more quality than Chelsea have got. But that's not what I want to happen. Obviously, I'd rather have Chelsea win it. But I just got a feeling Liverpool, they're just on such a high right now. I can't see who the hell is going to beat them at the moment. It's going to be a tough job for anyone to beat them. If you beat them, fair play, but I don't think it'll be like a lot of... But we'll have to see on the day.
Matt, which way do you think this is going to go?
I think it's Klopp's to lose at the moment. He's realised how much the FA Cup is important, and the fact they haven't been there for, I think it's 16 years now. No, that's not right. 2014 was the last final. Sorry, so that's about 8 years. I'm terrible at maths.
Were they in the final then,
8 years.
Liverpool, in the FA Cup final in 2014?
Oh no, not 2014. Sorry, it was. I can't remember exactly when but it was. They had Andy Carroll and Luis Suarez up top.
Yeah, I think that was Chelsea 2012.
That's
Again,
the one.
Yeah.
So it'll be
10
about
years.
10 years then. So it's Klopp's to lose, but I think with Tommy Tickles, you never know. might nick it from them.
Could be another 1-0 like there was against Man City in the Champions League final. Austin, what do you think?
I reckon Liverpool's Liverpool. Why did I say that? Yeah, Liverpool. Sorry. Maybe with Chelsea if Tommy Tuchel was to put the work in and obviously if I was a manager, the first thing that and probably many managers do it, they have a look at their opposition's previous games and see how they play in those games. So he's got to look at that as well as everything else. So I reckon Chelsea could have a chance. And as much as I would like that to happen, it probably will go to Liverpool. But so yeah, that's the thing is, if Chelsea put the work in, they come out, they be strong, and they attack, then I could see Chelsea winning it. But if they come out and it turns into a nightmare, then it'll be Liverpool. So it's anyone's match really.
Yeah, I
Both
think
games have ended in a draw. Sorry, Hubert.
yeah, that is true. To be fair, both games did. It was you had 1-1 in August, I believe, and then you had 2-2 in January, and then obviously you had 0-0 in extra time with that incredible penalty shootout. So it
Could happen
seems
again.
it could happen again. It could be a very exciting final. So you never know. I mean, obviously, I'd like Chelsea to win it for obvious reasons, but Liverpool are on for a quadruple. I think that will take them and give them that extra motivational boost. Because if they achieve that, well, that'll be the biggest achievement I think of Klopp's career at Liverpool. Almost, you kind of think,
Yes.
what else can he do with them after?
Yeah.
Have we got any comments?
We have no comments at the moment.
Okay, right. So we'll see what happens with the FA Cup. We'll talk about the final in May and see what happens after we've seen the two teams clash at Wembley once again. Now we will move on to Premier League action. For some of the games anyway, because obviously the midweek games we previewed have not happened yet. So we will talk about them on Friday's show before we do the special preview of some big games, including, of course, Arsenal versus Manchester United. So let's move on first to talking about this game. Luke, Tottenham, like Arsenal, have big top 4 points to gain this weekend. But Brighton have upset 2 North London clubs in a matter of a week.
Hang on, it was cutting out.
Brighton have upset 2 North London clubs in a matter of a week, with both North London clubs looking to try and maintain their top 4 push. What did you think of the game?
It was a decent game. Tottenham did have their chances here and there, but like I said last show, I think Tottenham are eventually going to do the Tottenham, and they're starting to bottle it now. So yeah, Brighton played well, and then obviously nicked it right at the end with Trossard. Like I said, Brighton, they seem to up their game towards the end of the season. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I just don't think Tottenham are going to make it easy themselves getting top 4. And Brighton have had 2 back-to-back wins in North London. Much say North London's blue and white now.
No.
I don't know. It's a tough one to see who's going to get that spot.
Matt, I mean, Luke just said, Brighton seems to kind of turn up towards the end of the season. But could it be the aspect, and I've always kind of said this, that they've got nothing to play for? They're safe from relegation. They're not going to get European football. So they're kind of almost a very dangerous team to play because they've got nothing to lose. So they can just have a go because either way, nothing will happen.
Well, you say that they're only 9 points behind Wolves, who are 8th at the moment. So it is almost like they're a late runner for the European races if the Conference League space isn't filled up. It's a bit complicated with all the European spaces at the moment. I've gone over my head. I can't remember how it goes exactly.
I did see a message last night in Sportsmania that Abdi put out that kind of explained it, but I can't remember what it said. But yeah, that probably did give a good bit of explanation because it is a bit confusing. But do you think there's still an outside chance considering in the last few games?
Yeah, I'd say that they're an outside chance, but it will be whether or not Wolves can hold on, or if they're going to end up losing. Again, it might end up being dependent on whether or not Leicester can beat Roma in the semi-final of their conference game. Brighton have got a good team themselves, so I think they'll see themselves hoping to try and get into that top 10, and that will be a perfect season for them so far.
I think a top 10 finish for Brighton would be, again, like with Palace, what some of their results kind of make them deserve it, really. Austin, what did you think of Tottenham's game against Brighton?
So I was at work, but I was constantly checking William Hill because that's where I catch up with all the football. What was the score again? Sorry,
it was 1-0 to Brighton.
1-0 Brighton, and it was a last-minute clanger, wasn't it?
It was, I think, in 90th minute, was it?
Yeah. I have to be careful what I say here because obviously, as an Arsenal fan, I couldn't really comment on this game as such because obviously we was in the same situation. But how do I say this without sounding like an absolute twat? So Arsenal lost to Brighton, to which everyone knows, and now Tottenham have lost to Brighton. If I remember correctly, in the preview show, I did actually say that Brighton was going to win. So at least that come true. But yeah, no, well done to Brighton. They've managed. They're winning the games that need to be won, especially against two North London teams as well. Tottenham. The thing with Tottenham, and I don't know if you agree, they can win the big games. So like they can win against the likes of Man City and whatnot. But then when they play against Brighton and Palace and whatnot, they seem to lose. And I don't know what it is. I'm not going to be contradicting by saying, Arsenal is any better because they ain't. But yeah, well done to Brighton. They seem to be doing well.
No, they are, and I think they kind of they've got possibly a late kind of run to the European place, possibly a very small outside chance, but they certainly have caused a few top four upsets in the top four race.
Did somebody say top four upset?
Oh, hello. Where did you come from? Well, yeah, Abdi, let's get your views on a few things, but the current game we talk about, Spurs dropping it against Brighton.
North London is blue and white, my friends. You heard it here.
To that one.
No, shut up. I've been there.
Well, I was surprised, to be fair. No, actually, am I surprised? Spurs, I was expecting them to... I mean, that's the story of Spurs, to be fair. You expect them to do one thing and they'll go and do the opposite. But to be fair, Brighton is their bogey team and they always slip up or tend to slip up against Brighton. So, yeah, you can call it surprising, not surprising, classic Spurs, whatever you want. But in all honesty, this top four race, everyone's shit.
No one seems to want it.
Everyone's really shit. This reminds me of a few years ago. When teams just kept losing and then afterwards someone had an opportunity, they'll lose, and then someone had an opportunity, they'll lose. And it's just, I think it was a few years ago, I think it was when Ollie came in as interim caretaker boss and we lost to Huddersfield and basically just collapsed pretty much, which was weird. We had a better chance then than we definitely do now. Like, I still maintain the firm line that top four is not on for us, but mathematically, somehow it's still there for some reason. But with the fixtures that we have, we'll get into United in a bit. But Spurs, I still think they have the best chance in terms of the run-in that they have. But Spurs is Spurs, and they can easily slip up and drop points to. Well, I'm not going to disrespect Brentford because Brentford are on red-hot form at the moment. But Brentford, you can see them next week giving them a good game. And teams after that, they've got probably out of the Man United and Arsenal, they've probably got the better run-in. There is a trip to Anfield within that, and there is a game against Arsenal. But aside from that, Burnley, Norwich, by then you'd assume they'd be down maybe, unless for Burnley's case. But Burnley's always a tough opposition. But yeah, Norwich final day of the season. You think that's a routine for them?
Yeah, you'd think so. Before we move on to the next game, two things. One, Austin, have we got comments?
We do not have any comments.
Well,
It's a very quiet one.
Very quiet. Well, people are probably recovering after Easter Sunday, to be fair.
I'm definitely, yeah.
I think we all are, mate. I would like to, Abdi, get your views on the FA Cup semi-finals. Both, I mean, you can talk about one of them, probably if you want, or you can.
I'll mainly stick to the one I was more entertained by, which was Liverpool City.
I think we're almost entertained by that one.
Yeah. No disrespect to Chelsea and Palace. It was okay, but it was 0-0 for like the majority of it. And then afterwards, Palace came forwards, and basically Chelsea had the opportunity. They were just waiting for that. And Palace fought for as long as they could, but unfortunately, Chelsea went through. And realistically, who would I want to go to that final to take on Liverpool? As much as I want Palace to win the FA Cup and do all of that and do the underdogs, I think Chelsea have the much better chance of competing against Liverpool than Palace do. So no disrespect to Palace, because I'm not going to disrespect them like that. But as for Liverpool City, what was Pep thinking? I don't know. Putting out his B team, rotating it. You couldn't be surprised in terms of that's when you see that lineup against Liverpool's, that Liverpool done exactly what they were going to do. In the middle of the week, you saw City went to Atletico. They put their strong side out. They had a couple of casualties within that team, De Bruyne and Walker mainly. But Liverpool at home to Benfica put out their B team already before you even got there. And that's why I thought Liverpool had the better chance of winning anyway. Plus, for some reason, City don't do it outside of the air. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what Stefan was thinking for that second goal. You can't mess around with the ball in that kind of situation. You get it, you clear it, you move it along. You don't take time with it, especially against a team like Liverpool. Konate, 3 goals in 3. That transfer's working out for Liverpool. Liverpool as a team, they're smart in the transfer window. They're smart in what they do in terms of how they play. Jurgen Klopp has built a great team from top to bottom, and the recruitment, like most of them, majority of the times, are just hits after hits after hits. There are a couple that you could question maybe that didn't work out so hot, but eventually they usually come off. They only made Konate and Diaz the only signings of this season to add on top of the team that they already had, and it's reinvigorated them even more. And at the moment, they're on the hunt for the quadruple, and part of me feels like it's a very strong possibility that they can do it. I think they're favourites for the FA Cup. They're favourites for the Champions League. I wouldn't say they're favourites for the league, but with the way Liverpool and City have their thing, I could just see Liverpool grinding out games and just going bang, 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 win after win after win. I don't see anyone who can really stop them, which is the saddest thing because my team plays them tomorrow. And, realistically, United fans, we don't have any hope. And that's the saddest thing, because a game like this where your biggest rivals are chasing not only a league title to match you, but then surpass you with a quadruple and basically make the treble look like, oh yeah, we done the treble, yeah, we done the quadruple. They'll have both of those things over us, on top of a shit season already. So I don't trust any of those players to really go out there and stop them. But aside from that, you got to hope that somebody's a banana skin within that run in for Liverpool. But as I said, I could just see them grinding it out. Hopefully, Chelsea in the final. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it seems like, because Chelsea and Liverpool this season have been very close games, very entertaining. And it was only decided by penalties last time, and it could have been a lot better for Chelsea. I feel like realistically they should have probably won that final as well. But I feel like it's April now, it's the running, and I feel like Liverpool have that bit between their teeth, and like they can smell all the trophies and to be like, let's collect. And I'm worried. I'm very concerned that they will.
So are you thinking Liverpool to win the FA Cup?
I hope not. Chelsea's luck in the FA Cup recently in terms of the finals suggests that they probably will lose, because they lost to Arsenal, they lost to Leicester, and now they're in the final again. Well, they lose to Liverpool. Liverpool haven't won it since 2006. They haven't been in the finals since 2012 against, ironically, Chelsea. So I'm hoping that Chelsea can come up on top.
Interesting. Right. Any comments before we move on to Southampton Arsenal?
No comments, mate.
Okay, right. Well, we move on to the Saints against Arsenal, and it was like George and Austin said on the preview show. Matt,
where did it all go wrong?
Matt, what happened? It was a must win. It wasn't. You needed a win. A win was the only thing you needed. A win is the only thing you didn't get.
Well, first of all, Southampton are a great side anyway. I'm a huge fan of
They've been shit. They've been shit. Pure and
They've
simple.
done all right. They've had a few struggles along the way, but you know what you're getting with Ralph Hasenhuttl. He did really well with them last season, and he's done well again. A lot of people have, again, like Abdi, have underestimated them, and then they've come out and got them results when they need them. They aren't going to get Europe this season. They're not going to be challenging for that top 10. It looks like they are the 12th, if I remember rightly. No, they are 12th. So they're looking outside like they're not going to get that top 10 finish that they wanted, but they play really well. They've got a good style, and they just, when they scored the goal, and they just shut up shop and did the job. Arsenal couldn't finish, and that was it. A lot of people have given them stick. A lot of people have been saying this, that, and the other about Mikel Arteta, whether he should go, whether he should stay, whether the owners are at fault, this, that, the other, everything that goes out. It's a bit similar to a lot of fans pulling the toys out the pram. I'm not Arteta's biggest fan, but I don't know where it's gone wrong. But ideally, if I was to look back at this at the moment, it would be the striker. Why didn't you bring in the striker in January? You've got injuries to key players that he hasn't really sorted out or added to in January again. And it looks like, if I'm honest, I predicted that we were going to finish roughly 12th because of the way that the squad looked at the end of January, and I've been proven that kind of wrong, and we might be finishing in that top 6, but that's not good enough. We should be aiming for that. The way everyone's been slipping up this year, we should have been aiming for that 3rd spot. Maybe if we're lucky with Chelsea, how Chelsea have been performing, but I think
wasn't realistically possible. Realistically,
I think that
wasn't possible.
Spot's Chelsea's. It's Chelsea's to lose now, and
they're not losing it, mate.
You've said it before, Abdi. I think a lot of us will probably say it's almost past the parcel with that 4th spot, because you've got Tottenham going, "Oh, do you want it?" Because we've got a lost game. Man United will go, "Hold on, we've got a chance here." Oh no, we've lost it again. Oh no, we picked it up again with a last-minute goal. It's just gonna be past the parcel towards the end of the season, isn't it?
Well, it's like seems no one really wants that 4th spot. It's like everyone's allergic to it. It's like when it's with a team's reach, no one seems to grab for it. Seems like it, Luke. What was it that went wrong for Arsenal, do you think, in that game?
Didn't take the opportunities. Like, they had a couple of chances, Saka, and then he had a couple of decent chances he should really have put away. But other than that, they didn't really offer enough for me. And Southampton just were defensively, and then eventually that was all by the goal, and so lost 6-0 against Chelsea, and then obviously to do that to Arsenal, it must have I can't pronounce the manager's name. He must have said something that got their spirits up to a result like that against Arsenal.
Abdi,
I
what
don't know
did
what's
you?
going on with Arsenal lately.
I don't know what's going on with Arsenal, honestly. I thought they'd do a lot better than they're actually doing at the moment. I thought they would have done better with the games against Palace, Brighton. Thank you. That's fine. Sorry about that. But yeah, I thought they would have done better with those games against Palace and Brighton, and actually go on a run and pick up points. But I feel like I've almost been tricked by Arsenal, to be fair, this season, to think that they're having a good season. Realistically, if you look at the table, they're only 2 losses away from what they have had last season in terms of they finished on 13 losses. They're already on 11 now. And they've got Chelsea, Man United, and Spurs to play. I'm not saying that any of those teams are going to beat them specifically, but those will be tricky games in terms of, well, not the Man United game, come on. But the Chelsea and Spurs will be, because they're big rivals with those two as well. But yeah, no, because I feel like because Man United and Spurs have been so shit as well, it's kind of masked it a little bit. And it's been sort of up and down, because before at the start of the season, they were shit. Then afterwards, they went on a weird run where they got some points, but then they dropped some points. And then afterwards, December hit and they got better with a good run, and they picked up points here and there. A couple losses sprinkled in, but they went on a nice run from February onwards, and then the losses started. They lost to Liverpool, they lost to Brighton and Palace and Southampton, so that's 4 and 5, and it's kind of gone downhill ever since. Pretty much Liverpool after the international break, to be fair, because I wouldn't say because they beat Villa before then, but actual game itself, I feel like they could have done a bit better. January was a defining period for them. They got rid of players, but they didn't really invest in that squad. It's a weird one with them. Can they still get top 4? I wouldn't say it's out of the question for them, because I know some of their fans don't think they will, similar to how United fans feel as well, but it is still there realistically. If they beat United, if they beat Spurs, then they got a shout, but some of their games still left to go are going to be tricky. And have they got the quality to finish off chances against those kind of teams?
Yeah, remains to be seen. Austin, what did you think of the game?
Shocking. Is she? One word. Shocking. Right. What do I really have to say? Obviously, I'm not going to be one of those. We are still talking about Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Just clarify before I make myself look like a mug. So yeah, what was I saying? That was it. Yeah, so I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, oh yeah, we've lost against Southampton. I'll take her out. Because
don't believe me, they started. They're back.
That's
in
Oh,
full
the
force.
banner outside and all
if I
sorts.
remember correctly, I swear Arteta in was trending on Twitter this morning.
Don't know. I didn't see that personally.
That's what I heard, that apparently Arteta in was trending on Twitter this morning. But still, poor performance from us once again. I feel like, and Matt, you might agree with me here as well as everyone else, I feel like ever since we've lost Partey and Tierney, we've dropped. I don't know why. I don't know if you will agree with me. If you don't, then tell me. It don't bother me. But ever since we've lost Tierney and Partey, I feel like we've dropped.
Tierney's a massive loss for you.
He
Yeah,
is.
and I don't know what it is, because it takes 11 men to make a team, not 2. Do you get what I mean?
Mm.
What
Like-
hasn't helped is that Tavares has come in and he hasn't played
Mm.
many games, and all the fans are getting on his back for it.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it was like that, and I said this to George on the last show. It's like I said, prime example was with Pepe. Like when we first bought Pepe, we was playing him and all that, and everyone used to get on his back and everything. It took him a while. Like, he got there, scored a goal, and then that's when his confidence went up. And that's when the fans were like, right, okay, I'm starting to see 80 million here. Like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
And they're not giving Tavares that opportunity to show that he can. The thing is, you improve on positive feedback, not negative feedback. If you're going to give someone negative feedback, they're just going to end up playing more shit, because that's the sort of environment they feel like they're in.
Or just
And-
constructive criticism where they can
Yeah,
build on
exactly.
it.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's the things like that where you're saying negative things about players. It's things like that that actually makes the players want to leave. And by the time, Arsenal fans have finished slagging off nearly every single player in our squad, we're not going to have a fucking squad. You get what I mean? Like, according to, those lefty Arsenal fans that don't know a fucking thing about football, like, they've all, for some reason, even if we win a game, there's always a player that's got a problem. There's always a player that's not performed right. Like, and the way I look at it is, fans out there, some fans, not all fans, but some fans, they're out there. We have a good game, and they'll come at you and say like, oh, this person didn't perform this well, this person didn't perform. I'm like, and I look at it and I'm like, what is actually good for you lot? Do you get what I mean?
Nothing.
Like,
Nothing. Mate.
nothing is good for you lot. We do
They
as
just
much
want-
as we possibly can, and they just keep on going on. On and
They-
on and on and on. And I'm like, what the fuck are you on about?
They just want
Yeah.
things to fit their certain narrative. So people who
Yeah.
say Arteta was shit like back last
Mm.
year and haven't
Mm.
changed their mind or given him a chance to fix things are waiting. Anytime you guys lose, it's always straight to Arteta. What did he do wrong? This, that,
Yeah.
that. You don't actually question sometimes
Do you know what? I had
the
it at a
players
game
or
as
you know,
well.
but Go
I
on.
had it at a game once, where it was the first ever ticket I'd ever bought on my membership. I can't remember what game it was. So I'm sitting in the. Oh, where was it? No, sorry, I bought the ticket off of someone. Sorry, I was sitting in the North Bank, and we wasn't playing as well. And they were like, "Oh, fucking Arteta, get rid of him, get rid of him." I just turned around and went, "What? Do you think you can do a better job?" Like, you're standing there, literally saying, "Oh, Arteta needs to go." Well, if you think that you're such a good manager and that you can run the club, why don't you go up onto the side of the pitch and you start controlling our team? Or is it because you've been playing too much Football Manager that you think you're now a manager? Do you get what I mean? Like,
It's always interesting to see how many potential football managers pop up as soon as their team loses.
thing
Yeah,
is though,
exactly.
I think it is a bit of a crunch time for Arteta in terms of if the form keeps continuing the way it is to the end of the season and they finish outside of Europe again
Mhm.
for a third season. Well, they put in Europa League and won the FA Cup, but eighth another time, then I think it will be currency for them because there is no improvement there whatsoever. And as I said earlier, you kind of have been tricked a little bit. That has been a good season for Arsenal. I think it's been all right because it is what it
I
is.
think
But at the
it's been a
same
good
time,
season.
I think it's just been a shit season for everyone else around you that made it look like it's a better season.
And
Yeah.
better
Would-
teams go on and take advantage of it. That, like Leicester did in 2016 when they won the league.
Mm.
That hasn't
Re-
happened. with-
Realistically, like it's all hypotheticals, but realistically, Man United with what they were supposed to do at the start of the season should be a lot higher than where they actually want to be right now. You know, there was talks of challenging the title. We're nowhere near that. No, I don't think we'll be anywhere near that for years to come. But realistically, top four they should have been comfortable because before they were in top four for the last 2 seasons. But even if they showed a little bit of form in the last few weeks, they'd easily be top four right now. You look
Yeah,
at Watford,
exactly.
Leicester, Everton, those 3 teams, realistically, with the form they were in, you should be winning those games. Watford was shit. We should have actually beaten them. Leicester, we were shit. They were shit. I don't know, but you should be beating them at Old Trafford. And then after Everton, not bottom of the table, but fighting relegation, we made them look better than they were. So, you know, if United had put any form together, you know, fourth would have been easy, but it's not. That's why this season just shit. No one wants it. Everyone's just rubbish, as bad as
Yeah,
each
it's
other, pretty much.
literally a pass the parcel, and everyone's dropping the parcel.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
it's what it seems like.
It's basically top four's literally going to decide on who's the least shit out of these 4.
Basically, that's what I was
Four.
gonna say. It's like it's the
I
worst.
guess.
It's the worst team wins it. The least worst team wins it.
Yeah,
So,
But-
yeah,
as I said, give that 4th spot away to another country. Give it to their coefficient. Just be like, you know what, your place. Whoever finishes here, you can take it.
yeah. We can't decide. It seems. Austin, have we got comments?
We have 0 comments.
Okay. We move on to the next game then. We didn't preview this. Well, kind of didn't really preview this because we didn't think there was much on it, and Abdi, there probably wasn't, but
There wasn't, but
there
you know.
was a few times where your Norwich are pretty much down. Anyone can beat Norwich.
They
was
are.
almost questioned.
No, but
You know, I did
I still
actually clip that.
no, it's fine. I still stick
Wow.
by that Norwich are down, and
They are probably, but you.
I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised by what I saw by United. I was like, it is typical of us to do what we done on Saturday. You know, it wasn't even Man United against Norwich. Unfortunately, it was Cristiano Ronaldo against Norwich. Because here we go. He scored the hat trick. He basically carried us to that victory in terms of.
To be honest,
that's
I
the
did
story.
think he was going to say.
What?
I did
Which one?
think he was going to. I did think he was going to say, "Oh, Man United played really well." I was literally going to
No,
say,
mate. No, we played far from well.
Considering 2 goals against Norwich is not exactly brilliant.
Mate,
Yeah, I was
Norwich
gonna
have
say,
scored. Before that game, Norwich have only scored 8 goals away from home. They scored 2 against us. That's 20% of their away goals at Old Trafford, and they're bottom of the
Shocking.
table. They're bottom of the table. You know, Man United have a weird thing in recent years with playing teams at the bottom, pretty much. But without Ronaldo, I fear for what that game would have been actually. But
2-0 Norwich.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
maybe
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, Norwich just they were a good side against us. You know, we could have done a lot better what we had. Ronaldo though just does what Ronaldo does. You know, he had a free kick and he scored a free kick to make it a hat trick. People was gonna be like, "Oh God, Ronaldo, don't take this free kick. He's about to blaze into Rose Z." No, right into the back of the net. But for United, realistically and mathematically, there is that top 4 chance. But I'll still maintain, as I said many times, we can't get top 4 just by the fixtures and the form and the mentality of that team. But mathematically, there is still 3 points behind Spurs on the same games played. Ideally, it has been a decent weekend for United in terms of people around them. Mainly for maybe even the battle for Europa League or whatever. Arsenal drop points again. Spurs drop points. West Ham drew to Burnley. You know, so Conference League is sort of behind you a little bit there. You know, but big game tomorrow for Liverpool, not for us. You know, it's sad that it's already a foregone conclusion for us. But it is what it is. That team doesn't have the spine, the mentality, the spirit, the will. I don't think they even realize that what it means to play for Man United and to fight for that badge and to protect the treble and protect 20 league titles and all that, and to slow your rivals down. But United are just like, come past, it's fine. You can do whatever you want. Set up shop, breeze away if you want to breeze away. Take whatever you want to take. Just don't hurt us. I don't know, but stranger things have happened in football, of course, but nah, not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I'm just looking at Saturday now. That's going to be an interesting game between United and Arsenal, but we'll talk about more on that on Friday.
We will indeed. Luke, what did you think of the game? What were your thoughts?
We basically done again what we've been doing every game. Our defense has been like mush, like going cut straight through. Just might as well get a bar, cut a knife straight through it. It's that easy. It's just like if it weren't for Ronaldo, we wouldn't have had the win. I reckon we probably would have lost that game. It's just what we do. Like teams of relegation battle, we make them like they're in the top half. It's just I just don't know what we're going to do from one game to the next. It's like Maguire's even kicking his own player in the head.
Yep.
That was hilarious.
Kick Pogba in the head, and then
Not for the first time this season.
But Liverpool tomorrow, I have zero confidence in that because I just think that they're just going to bully our defence, especially if Maguire's in there. They're going to send him for a hot dog like 10 times. But obviously, I want to win the game. Of course, I do. It's a massive rivalry, and I've experienced it for years now. But this is one of the worst Man United teams I've probably seen. Well, not one of the worst, but they're up there.
It'll literally go down as the worst Premier League side statistically. Yeah. If we don't hit, I believe 12 points or so. I don't know. But
it's just a shame because on paper we have got quality players, but there's so many players in that team that just do not give a crap that they shouldn't be wearing the shirt. Like if Pogba wants to go, then just go. Lingard, he's going to go. I reckon that'll be for his career. We've got Matic leaving in the season. We've got Cavani leaving in the season. There's a lot of work to do for the next season. We're going to need at least 4 or 5 players, but even then, it's going to be a transition thing. I wouldn't expect it to click just like that. So it'd be like a push for top 4 again next season. I won't expect any miraculous difference, even with the appointment of Ten Hag. It's going to take time for them to adapt to this style of football for me.
Exactly. And guys, if anyone out there is thinking it's football, anything can happen, and that anyone has, United will give Liverpool a game, or United could do something against Liverpool. Go watch back the game against Norwich. That was at Old Trafford, and against the bottom team in the league. We're going to Anfield, a hostile place for any United player, against arguably the best team in the league. It only ends one way, and they're cut for our defence. Norwich cut for our defence the way they did. Liverpool do it any worse. You just have to look back at the October game. But
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm already prepared for the worst. So it's whatever happens, it happens, and we move on. Don't be surprised Wednesday if Man United officially announced the signing of Erik Ten Hag as their new manager, because they like to sort out a positive right after a big negative. And tomorrow night will be a big negative. Spin me right around, baby, right
see
around.
What happens tomorrow with that game? Matt, what were your thoughts on the game?
To be honest, it was just one of those games, wasn't it, where you needed to get something and you got something from it. Ronaldo's been your saving grace all season, to be honest.
Off scraps, mate. Off scraps.
As well as De Gea. De Gea's got you out of trouble. I don't really like De Gea anyway.
That's a weird one, but okay.
Norwich, funny enough, I've tried to work it out. They've got 4 games left, I believe. So the winning total for you to stay up is 33, on just for Norwich to be mathematically relegated.
Everton have got 2 games in hand over them as well.
Everton have 3. No, yeah, 3.
They're on 30, and
They're on 30,
um,
and some of them have
and
got 33. Some of them have only got 30.
Norwich is on 32. Norwich is on 32.
Yeah, so Norwich will have a game in hand somewhere.
Yeah, they will, but Everton have 2 over Norwich
Yeah.
at the moment. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but they showed some sort of spirit. But they'll look towards trying to get promoted again next season, carrying on their form of being a yo-yo club, and hopefully we don't see them next season. Or the
Please
season
don't
after.
come back. Do not come
Yes.
back. You're
We
not
need to
welcome
get rid of
anymore.
we need to get rid of these yo-yo clubs. That's for sure.
Bring Luton.
No.
No.
That'd be different.
I mean,
That will
we
be
might do that
different.
with
Bring
Huddersfield
back
next
Forest, it will also
season.
be different.
Nah, I want Forest. I really do want Forest.
Yeah.
Bring
Forest
Millwall
might
as
do
well. Millwall will be a great away day.
that.
Me
We've
and
got
George in the
some-
den together.
They're
Can you
behind
imagine
playoffs, but
Millwall
goal
v
difference.
West Ham in the Premier League?
Oh yes.
That'd
That's
be
going to be a 4:30 kickoff on Sky Sports main event. Let's go.
Or they'll do something stupid and do like an 8 o'clock kickoff on a Friday night.
Oh, that's
Oh,
even better.
no.
Give me that. Prime time.
I'll tell you what, that would be a great start to the season, wouldn't it? 8 o'clock Friday night football. Millwall versus West Ham, opening day of the season.
Oh,
My
at the
word.
den.
Matt, Matt's trying to
Let's
name
go
my
game was
dreams.
bad.
Well, Austin, what were your... Yeah.
No, I think Norwich are done and dusted.
I think
They're
yeah,
trying
they
just to make up for lost time now. And with Dean Smith, you never know what's going to happen with them. That's for sure. So go on, Austin.
Austin, what did you think of the Man United game before we quickly move on to the West Ham Burnley?
So what did I think of Ronaldo versus Norwich?
Yep. What did you think?
I'll tell you what, Ronaldo's free kick was a banger.
Yeah.
It was absolute banger. And it made me think Ronaldo's back. Do you know what I mean? So like he hasn't been performing that well at Man United, and then that free kick just showed there you go, look, there's prime Ronaldo right there. Like,
Back-to-back
those
hat tricks at OT.
Soddy's back-to-back hat tricks. I don't care.
Okay.
That free kick was the masterpiece in that game. Like, honestly, no. But well done to Man United. But don't worry, Abdi. I've still got your comment on Norwich.
Mate, you don't even need that. You can delete it, mate. They're going down.
They are going pretty much.
I'm literally that confident on it. They will go down. It's not going to change my mind, you know? It's the most blatant thing. I could have told you this day one, season opener. I would have still said Norwich are going down. Because that's what Norwich are. Exactly. No, yeah, exactly.
I said that, and I said that, and that's how my £20 bet came in.
Norwich go up and down. That's just what they do. It's not that shocking that they're bottom again. You know, if they don't finish bottom, they finish bottom. I don't. They finish 19th. Don't make a difference. They're still shit. But I just want to quickly say as well on Cristiano Ronaldo. Before the show, he did post on his socials that him and his partner have lost their newborn child, which is really sad news to hear. And it was like twins. One of them's passed away, unfortunately. So rest in peace to the kid, and thoughts with Ronaldo and his family.
Yes, definitely. Austin, have you got any comments?
We have no comment.
Okay, before
You
we
make
move
it
on
sound
to-
like we actually do. Stop
yeah,
it.
it's like we've got. Hold on, wait for it. No comments.
Just quickly before we move on, just as well, Steve Rowley passed away earlier today as well. Former Arsenal chief scout. So the same again. Wishing all his family best wishes at this tough time.
Also, an update from the Championship. Nottingham Forest are beating West Brom 3-0.
Get in, Forest. We love to
will
hear
not
that.
be promoted tonight. They need to.
No, they
We'll
won't.
find out more what happens in their game
They
against Preston
have to
North
win
End
tomorrow.
They do.
If they win tomorrow, they'll be promoted. But yeah.
Wait. So Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Forest
comes after
have like
Championship.
Premier League.
Nottingham
West
Forest
Brom
are
are
getting
actually
to
down
Premier
to 10
League.
men.
Yes,
Forest will
potentially.
be in
They're not
the
getting
playoffs.
to the Premier League yet. They could finish in the playoff position.
I hope they finish in
Ooh.
automatic position.
So that would
I'd
be
Have,
rather
nice.
Nottingham
that.
Forest- have they ever been in the Premier League?
Yeah, they have, but not for a very
A
long
long
time.
time ago.
Oh, very
It would have
interesting.
been, I'm going to say 98.
97, around there. 97, 98, yeah.
So before I was even thought of,
Yeah.
like, before most of us was even thought of, like,
No,
I'll
Luke.
look at it.
Luke was around.
What?
Say I was
What,
around. I mean, I was 1 year old, 2
You-
years old, but you
Yeah,
know.
I'd have
Oh,
been
what,
about
97,
two.
98? Yeah, I was about 5 or 6 then.
oh,
Yeah, he's
97,
he's
98.
the
Yeah,
he's the old geezer of Sportsmania.
Yeah.
So yes, so we'll move on quickly to the last game before we come out of the show. Abdi, West Ham, Burnley. Not much.
Ben
to
Mees
say.
Burnley. Ben Mees
Ben
Burnley.
Mees Burnley, yes. The shock that was Ben Mees Burnley, which Chris Wilder's apparently now rumored to take over.
Oh.
What did you think? I mean, that terrible injury to Westwood was probably the biggest headline of the game.
I didn't see it, but yeah. Does anyone know what actually happened? Like where the injured like leg?
Has anyone actually
Either
seen the
way,
injury?
injuries, whatever happened, you wish him the best of recovery, speed recovery, and but you don't stuff like that in football. But it's part of the game, unfortunately. You know, it is a contact sport, and stuff like that might happen. Although I can't tell you specifically what happened, so you know, but I still would say speed recovery to Westwood.
Mm.
But as for the actual game, West Ham, I feel like all of their eggs are in the Europa League now, and all eyes on that. They had a big night on Thursday in Lyon, and they pumped them 3-0 pretty much, and they got Frankfurt
Yeah,
in the
Frankfurt.
semi-finals.
Mm.
So yeah, I think all of their attention's on that, and I hope they win the Europa League because it doesn't really matter for them in the league at the moment. So if they finish 7th, they better hope they win the Europa League because they want to upgrade that Conference League straight to Champions League. And if they finish, I believe if they finish 7th and they win the Europa League, or Leicester finish 7th, I doubt Leicester will, and win the Conference League, no English team will go into the Conference League next season. So, but for West Ham, yeah, the Thursday. It's just similar for Leicester as well. The Thursday Sunday is a killer, you know, especially when you're doing European competitions. Because Leicester lost to Newcastle 2-1 as well. But yeah, I think for Leicester and West Ham, both of them, that all eyes are on their respective European competitions. So, and I hope for both of them they win them both. So, yeah.
Luke, a valuable point for Burnley in the relegation battle. Do you think? Surely.
Sorry, everyone's cutting out for me.
I was saying that Burnley clearly got a valuable point in the relegation battle. What do you think?
Oh my god, what's going on?
Okay, well, move on to Matt. Matt, what did you think of the West Ham Burnley game?
I thought that West Ham actually thought were going to win it, but a last-minute goal again. I think it was a last-minute goal. I can just double-check that just quickly. No,
Can everyone hear me?
of course,
Everyone froze for me.
We can hear you, Luke. We can hear you. Weghorst scored in the first half.
Weghorst scored, and
Weghorst scored the first, and then West Ham got the equaliser.
Souček was in the second half.
Yeah,
It was in the middle of the second half. So.
it was a bit of a surprise. I thought it was the other way around, but
No, you're thinking of the Newcastle Leicester game. That was the last minute winner from Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Where I think it does take a toll on you, as Abdi was saying, with Europe, and it was. I think it was one of those games as well, with the fact that Westwood got injured. What looks like it was almost like a break or a fracture in his leg.
It sounded like similar to what happened with Andre Gomez and Son in the Tottenham Everton game.
No.
From his reaction, although they didn't show it and they rightfully shouldn't have shown it, it's the way that he's just landed and it's a 50-50 and it's just happened. And I think the referee did the right thing. They all did the right thing, really, and just making sure that everyone was all right and willing to play. Things like that actually makes it worse. Mentally, it kind of makes you weaker. Go back to like the Ericsson issue in the Euros.
Raul
and
Jimenez
also-
against Arsenal
Hmm.
with the
Yeah.
concussion.
There's so many instances where things like that, it's in the back of your mind, especially if you go in for another 50-50, or you're thinking, oh, this might be the end of my career at the moment. So I wonder if maybe in the future, if they consider maybe postponing some of these games, maybe give it like an hour or something like that to give the players' mentality a bit of a rest and a breather so that they can relax and rest. Maybe that's something they can look into. I know that for fans that's not ideal, but it'll be interesting to see if perhaps they might look into it in the future.
Austin, what were your thoughts on that game?
What's that, Burnley? Ben Mee, yeah. I don't know. Is he fit to be a manager? Probably not. But to be fair, I know exactly what you're going to follow up with. To be fair, they did draw against West Ham. But the thing is, I might be acting stupid here. I've never ever heard of like a current player of a club to become a manager.
Wayne Rooney at
Like
Derby?
Ryan Giggs.
Not
Ryan Giggs
really
at
the
Man
Premier
United.
League.
Yeah,
Wasn't-
I know, but I've
No,
never-
but Ryan
I've
Giggs at
never-
Man United as well.
Andy has
What?
that.
2014.
He used to do it at Barnet. Edgar Davids did it at Barnet. There's been a couple in the football league.
Did Glenn Hoddle did it at one point with a club? Or am I
I
getting
wouldn't have
that
been
completely-
surprised.
Hmm.
See, the thing is,
Kenny
I
Dalglish did it with Liverpool.
Yes, towards the end of his career.
I'm
I'm
I
not sure
didn't
if
really
Souness
get
done
in.
it, but
I didn't really get into football and whatnot until I was probably about bloody hell, 19, just about to hit 20.
how
Like,
old are you, Austin?
I'm 21,
Okay.
so like George took me to my first ever game, which is what got me into like football more.
Oh,
So
fair
I
enough.
never really used to pay attention to it, if you get what I mean. Like
Yeah.
now,
I know.
I try
Yeah,
my
I know what
best-
you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Now I try my best to. Like, it's quite hard for me where most Premier League games are normally on the weekend when I'm working or something, but I still try to keep up to date. But yeah, no. Anyway, back onto the topic about West Ham Burnley. Well done to Burnley. Like, West Ham are supposed to be, a good club, and for Burnley to keep that at a draw.
Could have won
especially
it.
with
Yeah.
yeah, it could have won
They had
it. could have
they had a
won it.
penalty. They did have a penalty and corner
Yeah.
missed.
So like, and for Burnley to keep that 1-1 against a team that's in the top 4 race, like, that's good on Burnley. Do you get what I mean? Like, and maybe it does show that players do have that opportunity of being managers. I mean, like you said, Wayne Rooney. Alright, we can't really talk about Wayne Rooney. He's just been relegated, but still, like,
Well, but he tried his best, to be fair. It's
he
not,
tried his
Yeah.
best.
you know.
He tried his best to the point where he ended up paying part of the thing. Like,
We're
paying
deducted
part of the
21
club.
points, which is,
And they got deducted the points. Yeah, if they didn't get deducted the points, then it probably would have been a whole different story.
You would have
But,
been
you know,
comfortable.
Sometimes the best players don't make the greatest managers, though.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's
Please
true.
tell me, did Ben Mee get substituted on in that game?
No, he wasn't even on the bench. But it doesn't help Burnley that they're probably their best centre back is on the touchline, not on the
Hmm.
pitch. So,
Yeah.
Like I said in the last episode, it would just be hilarious if you're just sitting there watching a Burnley game and it's like, they just sub and it's like, oh, this player off for the manager. Like, so, but yeah, no, well done to Burnley and well done to West Ham. They both got the point. They both got a point. So the thing is, a point is better than no points.
Especially for a team like Burnley. I mean, currently they're 1 point,
Exactly.
they're 3 points behind Everton. So, depending on what happens against Leicester, you never know. Luke, can you hear us now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Right. What are your thoughts on the Burnley West Ham game?
Actually, yeah, like Burnley started off right, getting the earliest goal, Weghorst. He's probably been one of their star signings, along with Cornet. But obviously West Ham were probably burnt out a little bit because of playing Napoli. Obviously, they played like really well over there. It's going to be like Abdi said, Thursday to Sunday. It's not ideal. Like a lot of teams have struggled with that in the past.
Rotation as well.
Rotation, yeah. So you don't know what players will be like fit and available because injuries are more frequent as well when you do Thursday to Sunday. But that's a very good point for Burnley, but a point's not enough for them because I think they needed all three.
Yeah.
It's a long way to go for Burnley at the moment.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with the relegation race. Right, Austin, before we close, have we got comments?
We do not have any comments.
Well, if you're watching this and you're still watching this after the fact, leave some comments at the bottom.
Yeah,
of the
leave some
video.
comments what you think. You know, what you think, what you thought of the show. Well, thank you everyone for...
Before we get cut off, I just want to quickly go around the sorry, Hugh, but I'm stepping on your toes a little bit. Just want to quickly go around the room and ask, at the moment, who do you think is getting top 4? I know it can change, like literally, like on the flip of a hat, pretty much.
Are we talking just the 4th place or what?
Fourth.
Okay.
So just 4th, because we know the other 3.
So who do you think's getting it?
Let's start with Austin. Come back to me afterwards.
Okay.
Right, what's
Abdi
that?
needs to
Right,
think.
okay.
Who's getting
Okay, what
4th,
is it?
Austin?
Who's getting 4th? Hang on. Let me whip up the table real quick.
Say a name: Spurs, Arsenal, Man United, or West Ham if you want to throw them in, or Wolves. Realistically,
I've got to be realistic here, haven't I?
Well, you can still win.
Arsenal.
Okay.
okay,
Matt.
fair enough.
I think it will be United.
I
Okay.
wish.
Luke.
Oh, someone's not happy.
It's gonna say you've upset someone there.
My niece.
Yeah, you upset someone there. He said United. They're like, no.
No, can't have that. Luke, did you say Spurs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Abdi.
I'm gonna go with Spurs.
Oh, so we've got 1 for United, 2 for Spurs. No, 2 for Spurs, 1 for United, 1 for Arsenal.
Hubert's gonna go Spurs, isn't he?
No, because they're bottle jobs. Oh, but
They are.
Yeah, but
They
you
are.
don't know.
But
The choices are Arsenal, who are bottling at the
We
moment.
don't.
I don't
we
know,
don't
man.
want to go to a deadlock. We don't want to go to a deadlock.
But the only way for us is not good for it doesn't work like this. The only way for us not to go to deadlock if I said Spurs. Oh. I'm gonna go.
My finger is over a sound effect at the minute, so please say what I think you're going to say.
Oh damn!
I still think Spurs and Arsenal do have good chances. Though.
Spurs and Arsenal have good chances. Spurs have got easy-ish fixtures. They only have Arsenal to play, which is probably the tough
Liverpool
one, I think.
way.
Liverpool and Arsenal. When Arsenal need to still play Chelsea, United, and Spurs.
And Man United have got Liverpool tomorrow, Arsenal on Saturday, and then Chelsea the following Thursday. And Brentford, Brighton, and Palace, who are all on decent form at the moment.
Do you know what? I've got. Oh, no. Right, Spurs. There it is. I'm good for Spurs.
I hate you.
I'm glad
I hate you.
for the
Well
sound
done, Austin.
effect. For the sound effect alone, I'm glad I said it. Right, let's go around then. Social medias. Where can people find you, Abdi?
At AABDULLAHI26 at AAbdullahi26.
Okay, Luke. Where can people find you, my friend?
At UTD fans galore.
Okay, Matt. How about you?
At MattLR28.
And Austin, your confusing Twitter handle.
It is at Sullivan Austin, SULLIVAN
Very good. And you can find me on Twitter at SubsonicsUK. That's SUBSONIXUK. You can, of course, find us on at official S-Mania with all sorts of scores, news, and everything else in between that you may like. Feel free to join us anywhere else. We've got Facebook, Discord, Instagram, TikTok, and our WhatsApp group. And of course, please join us for the big preview on Friday. We've got a good few guests because we'll be previewing a few games, including the big one. Arsenal versus Man United. You do not want to miss it. Join us Friday night.
The battle of the shits.
You what? The battle of the what?
The shits.
Million
We're
plus.
both
then.
for shits each other at the
Bloody
moment.
curry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Join us Friday night and be mindful what you have for dinner before the show.
Exactly. No, but it's a Friday night, so have a curry if you want to have a curry. And then
have a
Saturday
curry.
morning, no, don't have the curry because Saturday morning, that's when the game's on, and you don't want to be on the toilet doing that. So yeah,
Depends which curry
It's
you-
right,
depends
grab
which
a
curry.
mirror.
Vindaloo, you know.
Oh, then you will be on the toilet.
Yeah,
on Saturday.
exactly.
Hey.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll see you a lot Friday night. Take care until then.
Avidazen.
Peace out.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Cheers.
Is England's priceless gem!